This is a dress with the periodic table on it that I wore in a media availability relatively early in the COVID response. I had this dress for years. I loved it. It was one of my favorites. And I had no idea when I wore it that day that it would become a part of sort of an iconic look. My name is Deena Hinshaw. I'm a public health physician, and I studied at the University of Alberta. Having grown up in Alberta, spent my whole life here, I wanted to do my undergraduate degree in a relatively small place, so that's why I chose Augustana. I took my medical degree at the U of A, as well as residencies in family medicine and community medicine, and part of the community medicine residency was a master's in public health. So this is a picture of my med school graduation day. When I was in med school, I was a pretty focused student. I was dedicated to studies, but at the same time, I also did a lot of extracurriculars like choir, hockey, and medical student association.
Probably just before the pandemic, right? I think as a student, she's probably a lot like she is now, very engaged, very honest, very open about things, with a great sense of humor. She's probably one of those people that pulled practical jokes back in the day.
A proud alumni of the University of Alberta. But as a student, I can only imagine that she was that student who delved into her studies, was very much academically engaged with the content, but also really looking at being engaged in the community.
So the University of Alberta had a curriculum both in medical school as well as in both of my residency programs that laid the foundations for my ability to practice in the specialty of what is now called public health and preventive medicine.
Deena Hinshaw is an exceptional public servant who, through her service as Chief Medical Officer of Health, has dealt with some of the most taxing health crises that we've had. Her work, obviously, with the pandemic is what she's most famous for, but she's equally has been passionate and committed to work that she's done with the opioid crisis, as well as the work she's done with First Nations and Indigenous communities.
So her expertise is in the broad areas of public health, everything from communicable disease control to making sure we're taking action to prevent health effects from climate change, all of the things that keep populations healthy.
I'm more of a tea drinker than a coffee drinker. I like the variety of tea, and I've never really enjoyed the taste of coffee, so I made it through COVID with caffeine. So I did drink a lot of black tea during COVID. There were, I guess, a lot of adrenaline-fueled days and nights as well. So that's just one foot in front of the other. I don't think in 2019, any of my colleagues would have been able to predict the details of what was going to unfold. So I think the impact was not something that I anticipated I would be dealing with in the second year of my time as the Chief Medical Officer of Health.
People like Deena don't seek recognition. If you have a chance to get to know Deena, you'll see her as caring, compassionate, empathetic individual. Really what stood out for me from Deena's response to the pandemic was her ability to communicate and helping us get through that and helping us understand and almost helping us grieve as we were going through that difficult stage of the pandemic.
Well, as Chief Medical Officers of Health, we were put onto a public stage in ways that we had never had before. So I think this was a really important way to acknowledge the challenges that she faced and how well she did at trying to find that balance.
There are many people who project their fear, their anger, and I can understand that. COVID was very scary. It brought a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of loss and a lot of grief through COVID. And so being the person who embodied that role that was the target was hard.
How difficult it is to take into account all of the different pros and cons and benefits and harms that can happen to different people when you're coming up with decisions that affect people's lives. And it is very, very challenging. And I think Deena did a really excellent job at protecting the health of people in Alberta. And I'm just so pleased that she's been recognized for that and for the work that she did.
A naming contest at the University of Alberta campus has resulted in a creative way to honor Alberta's Chief Medical Officer of Health. After hundreds of suggestions and votes, the winning name was Dr. Deena Hinshaw.
I've not had a dinosaur skeleton named after me before. I appreciate the University of Alberta, the students, the faculty, this recognition, even though it is kind of a fun thing, it has a serious side as well. Acknowledgement of the fact that through my work, I had been able to touch people's lives and that had meant something to them. It's overwhelming to win an award like this. It means a lot to me, and I hope that when others who I worked with see this particular award, that they'll feel proud of their part in the work that we did together. My name is Deena Hinshaw, and I am so honored to receive the Distinguished Alumni Award from the University of Alberta.